And welcome back to our friends of DAZN here on DAZN Transfer, as every single day is one day to go for the special transfer window ahead of the FIFA Club World Cup about to start. And so many updates, many stories here together as every single day, with my phone always on because anything can happen in the upcoming minutes. So let's see what happens together, but also all around Europe, from England to Spain, Saudi as always, some manager news also, and much more. And also a final important exclusive story on a big midfielder who is a target for Saudi, and much more together with me. Nacho, ¿cómo estás? ¿Todo
Hi
bien?
Fabrizio, very good. Looking forward to these last days of the transfer market. I hope there are still some bombshells to be dropped, right?
For sure, for sure. For example, there are some movements, England, Italy in these minutes. There is a call ongoing, for example, for Mike Maignan is going to be one of our topics, and much more. So get ready because things are happening while we are live.
I like what I hear. So first of all, Fabrizio, there are some pending transfer rumors before the Club World Cup kicks off that I want to ask you about, and the first one involves Carreras and Mastantuono, the two signings that are expected to be Real Madrid players soon. Right now, where do things stand with Carreras and Mastantuono?
Look, for Mastantuono, the position of River Plate is the one we told also yesterday. The deal is basically done verbally between Real Madrid and River Plate. $45 million close to be paid in installments. The player will sign a 6-year deal. But for the Club World Cup, River Plate insists that they want the player to be with them. And so that's the position of the club. They expect Franco Mastantuono to be with them. So in case something changes tomorrow with Real Madrid, we will let you know. But as of tonight, River Plate remain confident to have Franco Mastantuono with them, with Marcelo Gallardo for the Club World Cup, so as part of the squad, and then joining Real Madrid right after, when he will turn 18 in August. So the deal is ready. It's not in doubt, it's just about when, but again, River are quite confident. Alvaro Carreras is the other deal ongoing for Real Madrid, with this long conversation with Benfica. Let me say that at some point Real Madrid were very confident to get the green light to have Alvaro Carreras at the World Cup. Then what happened? That they have an agreement with the player. The player wants to go to Real Madrid, but Benfica remain strong on their position. They want the release clause or nothing. 50 million euros. Also because there is a sell-on clause to Manchester United, and so Benfica want to save their part of the money and are not accepting 35, 40 million euros so far. So the player is traveling to the US with the Benfica squad. There is at this point really small percentage to see Alvaro Carreras with Real Madrid. The understanding also on the legal point of view is that Benfica are the only club allowed to let the player play for this World Cup. So I still expect Alvaro Carreras to be a Real Madrid player this summer, but probably after the Club World Cup.
So we may see last service from Mastantuono and Carreras for the current clubs, and that may involve a match against their future club, which is Real Madrid, right?
Yeah,
some late drama in this World Cup.
This is part of football, no? Sometimes can happen, and also in this World Cup is going to be nice also because imagine you know that you're going to play for Real Madrid, especially the Mastantuono deal is done, Carreras is close, so it will feel special for the players, but at the same time I'm sure they will be super professional. This was also the message, for example, of Alvaro Carreras to Benfica directors: don't worry, I will give my best, but then he's still dreaming and waiting for Real Madrid.
Another club that is going to be in the Club World Cup is Chelsea, and I've already asked you about Mike Maignan. Where do things stand with the goalkeeper?
Look, there is, as I mentioned, a conversation ongoing even right now between Chelsea and AC Milan for Mike Maignan, because Chelsea have an agreement with the player. The player wants to go to Chelsea, Champions League football, Club World Cup, many opportunities in the upcoming months and in the near future with Chelsea. So the player wants to go, has 1 year left on his contract at Milan, and at the moment is not extending. That new contract proposal is still on the table since February, March. So it's a long time and the player is still not signing. So Chelsea offered 15 million euros. Milan want more. There is a conversation ongoing, especially on the add-ons, to understand if they are able to find an agreement on the structure of the deal and get the green light in the next hours. But Chelsea are on it. So I think there is a possibility for this deal to happen for the Club World Cup. Conversation ongoing, and we will keep you posted maybe during our show.
I hope so. And then regarding Bayern, I heard that they're looking for wingers for the tournament. Is it right?
They are. Meanwhile, I can tell you that Leroy Sané, while he's talking with several clubs around Europe because he has a new contract from Bayern on the table, but also proposals from Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, and more clubs, he will travel with the Bayern squad to the FIFA Club World Cup. So at the moment, he's staying at Bayern and then assessing his future. But Bayern are looking for a winger. Apart from what happens with Leroy Sané, they want to bring in an important winger. So we mentioned these days some of the players they discussed internally, like Rafa Leao, Take Kubo. These are players appreciated by Bayern. But let me clarify, as we already said here on DAZN Transfer, they are not negotiating club to club for these two players. So they like them, but it's not a concrete negotiation. One of the players they love at Bayern, and we also mentioned that, is Nico Williams. Nico is the dream target for Bayern. He's also the dream target for Chelsea and Arsenal. All these clubs wanted him 1 year ago, last summer, and still see Nico as the perfect winger for them. So let's see how this conversation will go in the next weeks, because, okay, you can dream of Nico, but then Nico is very happy at Athletic, so it's not easy to get a green light from the player. He has a release clause, but also an important salary. The player is asking for a very big salary to leave his beloved club, and so, you know, it's not an easy one financially, but I can confirm that the dream target for Bayern is still Nico Williams.
And what is the stance of Athletic Club in this matter?
Look, Athletic are very clear. There is a release clause, so any club interested can pay the clause, and there is nothing to do for Athletic. What they can do and what they are planning to do is to offer him a new contract, because some sources confirm that Athletic would be prepared to offer him a new deal, improve his salary in case he decides to stay once again this summer ahead of the World Cup next year. So Athletic are ready in case Nico decides to stay. But when there is a release clause like this one for a top player like Nico, it's always up to the player.
And Fabrizio, I'm afraid this is not the news that Bournemouth fans are expecting, but after they lost Hausen, they lost Kepa Arrizabalaga, they may lose as well Kerkez. It's time for Zabari, because PSG are interested in the Ukrainian defender.
They are, and they are pushing for Ilia Zabari, but what I can tell you, one of the updates I got before the start of our show is a good update for our friends of Bournemouth, because Bournemouth are being very strong and tough in these negotiations.
Finally, good news for them.
Yeah, because there are these club-to-club negotiations, but PSG wanted to try to start this proposal and this negotiation for the Club World Cup, but now it's almost 24 hours to go, a bit more, and from what I understand, Bournemouth are very strong. Bournemouth don't want to sell the player, Bournemouth want to keep him. It's a really important player for Andoni Raiola, and so I don't think it's going to be an easy one for PSG now. Then later in the window, maybe Bournemouth can find a replacement, and so there could be more options, but at the moment it's getting complicated. Also, let me say, PSG have more options available on their list. It's not only Zabari, he's a player they love, but he's not the only one.
Next team that we want to talk about is a special one, because first of all, Fabrizio, I want to show you guys the brand new kit that Atletico have for the upcoming season, which is
amazing one, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, extended the contract.
Back. Yeah, I like this kind of lining.
Yeah, super nice.
Both sides. So you know, you're gonna see Atletico de Madrid in this kit
super cool
very soon. And after we showed you guys the Atletico kit, I wanna ask you about some transfers that are going on right now, and that may involve some players that are not yet Atletico de Madrid players, which is not the thing that we can say about Lenglet. Right?
Yeah,
because Lenglet is basically a done deal.
Yeah, Lenglet is a deal done. It was completed today. We already anticipated this story here on DAZN Transfer during the week, that they were discussing, they were negotiating. And today Lenglet decided to terminate his contract at Barcelona, a mutual agreement. So it's an agreement done also because the player was showing his desire to stay at Atletico Madrid. He signed a 3-year deal till 2028. And so Lenglet is staying. He was really wanted by Diego Simeone. Also, the player was very happy at Atleti. And so he's going to wear this kit next season at the World Cup, and also in the next years, because he decided to continue at Atletico Madrid.
And now the term for those players that I said that they're not Atletico de Madrid players yet, and the first one is their main target, Baena.
Yeah, and for Baena there is an agreement with the player, so we can confirm what we mentioned at the beginning of the last week. The Atletico Madrid have an agreement in principle with the player, and the player wants to go to Atleti. So, you know, when the desire is that strong in the transfer market, usually things happen. But as of today, still no club-to-club agreement, still a negotiation ongoing. Atletico still hope to include the player in the deal. Villarreal insists to get money and invest on different players, not from Atletico de Madrid. So there is a conversation ongoing. Again, I feel this deal can happen, but it's still not time to say, here we go, club to club.
Regarding the rest of the rumors involving Atletico de Madrid, what's going on with Cardoso and Cuti Romero?
Cuti Romero is a dream for Atletico de Madrid, one of the best defenders in the world, so to sign a player like Cuti from Tottenham with a very strong owner like Daniel Levy, we all know how complicated it is to negotiate with Daniel Levy and with Spurs when it's about top players. No, we saw with Harry Kane how tough it was for Bayern to get the green light with 1 year left on his contract. Yeah. Imagine for a player like Cuti Romero, captain mentality, leadership, a crucial player for Tottenham. I don't think it's going to be an easy one. The only way for this to happen is if Tottenham change their mind and let the player go. But at the moment, from what I'm hearing, Tottenham really want Romero to stay, and so it's not going to be easy to see Cuti Romero this summer leaving Spurs. For sure, the appreciation of Atleti is confirmed. And then they appreciate Johnny Cardoso for the midfield. He's a player they love, so similar level of appreciation as Cuti Romero, obviously different position. For Johnny Cardoso, the request of Betis is at least 40 million euros. This is what Betis want. Atleti started around 30, so there is still a gap in valuation between the two clubs, but the conversation is ongoing, the player is keen on the move, and so I think Cardoso, not for the World Cup, but later, can be one of the top targets for Atletico Madrid.
A few days ago, Fabrizio, you told me that you see it as unlikely that Atletico de Madrid strikes a deal for Terran, but are there any news?
Look, they are trying. They are trying with constant contacts with people close to the player. They have turned down important proposals from Saudi. We say that Al-Hilal had the deal done with Milan, but not with the player. With the player, the deal is not done, and even today in the morning, they were still trying from Al-Hilal to find a deal with Theo, and they still said no. So, it means that probably the player wants to stay in Europe, wants to stay at the best European level, and Atletico are still hoping. The real issue is that Milan closed the deal with Al-Hilal for 35 million euros package, and Atleti at the moment are offering way less than half that money. So at the moment, for Milan, it doesn't make sense to do that kind of business. So let's see what happens also club to club. Interest from Atleti is confirmed, but at the moment it's not an advanced negotiation.
Is it a scenario where Theo may be so short of options in Europe that he doesn't have any other choice than just Saudi?
Yeah, at the end, the player could also stay at the club and maybe move on a free in the January transfer window. That's also a possibility. Also because I don't think it's about being short of options, but I think it's just about also having the right opportunity. When you are out of contract in a few months, you can decide whatever you want. You can take the salary you want, the club you want. So now it's about, okay, or I find the right club for myself, or I can wait. I'm still happy at Milan. So this is the position of Theo. I think it will depend also on this, if the right opportunity appears or not, and Athletic could be the right opportunity, but at the moment, still not for Milan.
Okay, Fabrizio, so now let's move on to some here we go transfers. And first of all, let's talk about Man City, because they have some signings waiting to be announced, and the names are Turkey and Rangers.
Yeah, because today they made official Aït-Nouri, so they have a new left back. We already mentioned that, but as you said, now next Tijani Reinders, who signed this contract at Manchester City, 5-year deal completed with Milan, medical done yesterday, and today he signed all the documents as new Manchester City player, so new midfielder and new left back for Pep Guardiola, and then also new number 10, a new creative player, new playmaker for City, because the deal was completed today. For Ryan Cherki to join from Olympique Lyon, it's a here we go, 36 million euros fixed fee plus 6 in advance, 15% sell-on clause, and so Ryan Cherki will sign tomorrow morning a 5-year deal at City, medical also ready, and an excellent signing for Man City. They will also have one more goalkeeper for the Club World Cup, and it's going to be Bettinelli, the third goalkeeper of Chelsea, because Carson left the club today, and so Bettinelli is going from Chelsea to Man City.
And as well as Man City with Aït-Nouri, Chelsea have announced a new player, right?
A new defender also for Chelsea, and this Mamadou Sarr, the centre-back who was at Strasbourg, so same family, same ownership for Chelsea, but a player that they already decided to bring in 1 year ago. Then today they made official the decision to anticipate the timing and to bring the player at the Club World Cup. Really appreciated internally, highly rated by all people at the club. They believe he's a huge talent. He signed the 8-year deal, 2033, so very long contract. With Chelsea, we are quite used to that, but they keep going also with Mamadou Sarr, believing that he's going to be a big part of Chelsea's future.
Then I want to talk about the interbench, because the manager position has a new reinforcement, and it's a club legend.
And it's official, because Christian Kivu today becomes the new Inter manager. The agreement is done, is signed, a 2-year deal for Christian Kivu, who won this race to become Inter new coach. They were also interested in Cesc Fabregas, then Como decided to continue with the Spanish coach, and so the new manager for Inter is going to be Christian Kivu. 2 signings already completed, Luis Enrique from Marseille and Petar Sucic from Dinamo Zagreb.
With no helmet, that's for sure.
Exactly.
And regarding Bayern, and we've talked about Jonathan Tah in the recent weeks, and it's something that it's done, right?
Yeah, they were just missing an important detail, the agreement club to club to have the player at the Club World Cup. So the deal was done, but we were waiting for this green light, and the green light is in place. Here we see Jonathan Tah in a Bayern shirt, 2029, the agreement with the German defender, who was also a target for Barcelona in December. Then Barca extended the contract of Ronnie Araujo, and so the deal didn't happen. And now for Jonathan Tah, the important green light from Bayern, because the player will be at the Club World Cup. They will pay a small fee to Bayer Leverkusen to have the player, same as Real Madrid did with Liverpool for Trent Alexander-Arnold, and so Jonathan Tah, new defender, immediately for Vincent Kompany.
We have one last here we go transfer, Fabrizio, and it's good news for our Japanese audience because we are talking about a Japanese youngster. It's destined to be on the very top, right?
Talented one, yeah, 20 years old, and it's called Kitano, who is joining Red Bull Salzburg, as we can see in our images. The deal was completed today on a deal till 2029 for a player who was also wanted by several other clubs in Europe, but we know how good Salzburg are in developing talents, and so Kitano decided to accept their proposal. The deal was signed in the morning, and so good luck to Kitano. And also many other stories to mention on players, on managers and more with our Here We Go Metro. And so here we are, ready with the Here We Go Metro. You want to start with the manager?
Of course, Fabrizio. As you may know, guys, I'm gonna ask Fabrizio for some percentages of how likely these transfers are, and the first of them involves a manager that Tottenham are really kind of, and name is Thomas Frank.
Thomas Frank will be the new Tottenham manager. We can say that. We just wait for the contracts to be signed, but Here We Go is coming, and so my percentage today is a 95% for Thomas Frank to become the new Tottenham manager, because there was a contact in the morning, very positive, green light on everything, on the contract, length of the contract, staff and everything. So Thomas Frank will leave Brentford in the next days and become the new Tottenham manager in Champions League after Ange Postecoglou. So big opportunity for Thomas Frank, who did a fantastic historical job at Brentford.
I've also heard news about Angelino leaving. What about that?
He could leave Roma, yes. The player in this moment, while we're having our DAZN transfer, is waiting for a green light to travel to Paris, have his medical and sign with Al-Hilal, because Al-Hilal wanted to Hernandez. As we mentioned, Theo turned down the proposal, and so Angelino deal is almost ready between Al-Hilal and Roma. Agreement between clubs around 23 million euros, add-ons included. Also with the player ready to say yes, but Al-Hilal are still not giving the green light. So let's see what happens in the next 24 hours. If they decide to close this Angelino deal or any other, the percentage at this point is 60%, but as you can understand, it can change any moment for sure.
Is there any chance that Garnacho leaves Man United to go to Chelsea?
It's a possibility, because my understanding, as we said with our bomba of the day a few days ago, is that Garnacho will leave Manchester United, so he will go for sure. It's a plan shared by the player, his agent, and also Manchester United and the coach Ruben Amorim after what happened in the Europa League final. So Garnacho is leaving, and I keep receiving information that Garnacho priority is to stay in England. So the player would love to continue in Premier League in a different club. I give a 35% to Chelsea today, because for the Club World Cup I don't see this happening. The priority is Bayern Gittens from Borussia Dortmund, but Garnacho remains a player appreciated by Chelsea. There are more clubs interested in Alejandro Garnacho. Bayer Leverkusen called, but again, Premier is priority, and so let's see if some other English club will also try to enter the race for Garnacho.
During these last days, I've seen your phone getting a lot of news from Como, but it involved Cesc Fabregas. But now, let's see if Jeremiah ends up in Italy, right?
Yeah, he's one of the top targets for Como. One of the players they mentioned even before this crazy summer for Cesc Fabregas, because Cesc was wanted by Leipzig, Leverkusen, Roma, Inter, all these clubs. But even before that, he wanted Jeremiah. He was considering Jeremiah as a top target for Como. And he's still a top target. The result is closed, 33 million euros. Como, from what I understand, are willing to pay the clause, but still negotiating with the player. So conversations ongoing. My percentage is quite optimistic, is a 60%, because Como are on it, but still deal to be done with the player. So conversations ongoing on this one.
And Fabrizio, after the Here We Go Metro, Here We Go Meter, as you want to say, now it's time for the bombshell. because there's a bombshell to be dropped
Yeah.
in this show to wrap this up, and it involves an international Spanish player that is playing quite well right now, right?
Yeah, we were giving some hint about this, but the name I want to share today here on DAZN Transfer is Fabian Ruiz. Champion on everything, basically, because he won everything with the Spanish national team and also, obviously, with Paris Saint-Germain this season. And he's one of the top names in the list at Al Nassr in Saudi. Al Nassr are looking for a world-class midfielder this summer. As we said, they have a plan to try keep Cristiano Ronaldo at the club, and that's the expectation for Cristiano to stay, but with 3-4 major signings, and Fabian Ruiz is one of the players they want. Then, at the moment, there is still no official proposal. At the moment, we have to understand what happens with the player who is very happy at PSG, with Luis Enrique, who loves him, so I don't think it's going to be an easy one for Al Nassr at all, but I think Al Nassr will try, because he's one of the main names they have on their shortlist.
Do you expect Fabian to be so tempted by Al Nassr offer that he will eventually push for a transfer?
Look, I don't think so at the moment. I don't think Fabian is obsessed with that. But it's also true that he won everything this season. He won everything with the Paris Saint-Germain. He already won everything with the Spanish national team. Then there is a World Cup in 1 year, and this could be a problem in this kind of negotiation. Let's see. But he's a crucial player for Luis Enrique, so I don't think it's going to be easy. But make sure that you follow all the latest, because Al Nassr will be trying for Fabian Ruiz, and much more to say, guys, here on DAZN Transfer every single day, and so also tomorrow here together for the final day, the deadline day of this special window. And so thank you, Nacho, for being with me today.
Pleasure as usual.
It's been a pleasure for me, and see you tomorrow on DAZN Transfer. Ciao.